Hello everybody, Cal here with some more Shadowverse content. So, today, I got some time off from work, finally, and I assigned a ladder. As you can see, my rank has gone up a little bit. I've gone from B0 to B1, a little bit with the Mimi Nephthys deck, but at the moment I'm trying a different variant, just some changes I personally made to a control Swordcraft deck that I saw online, and that's what we're going to try. So I'm thinking that this should be okay. Hopefully the frame issues have been dealt with from last time. They seem to be staying pretty steady. The main difference is I've been trying Blitz Lancer in the 3-drop. I'd contemplated using Thief, but after talking to some other people on Reddit, very briefly, just a couple people, they had some good arguments why Thief probably isn't that good, although I feel like the only drawback I can see is the lack of draw in Swordcraft control deck. There is the Advent Blader. I'm missing the name at the moment. The 5 mana that pulls 2 officers out of your deck. But our 5 drops are pretty important. We have the 2 Cyclone Blades and the 2 Monica, and then of course Albert and Aurelia. It's all full. We don't really have room for more 5s. We'll go ahead and give this deck a shot. Mainly, my favorite thing about this deck so far is that its early game really does well against the early game decks, such as Aggro Blood, for example. Since Unicorn Dancer forces them to deal with it, or you'll be healing. Veteran Lancer's Ward. We have removal spells, etc. Things with Rush, things with Storm. Ways to keep them under control. But then late game, when we transition into the turns where the control decks really want to flourish, we have like Aurelia, who against most control decks isn't going to get her proc, where she gets hexproof or immunity to targeted abilities, as they call it. But with the ability to just win with 5 burst damage, with 10 burst damage, if we have an Evo token for Albert and play him late game. Aurelia's ability to be immune to targeted effects helps us against control decks. The deck's ability to generate tokens helps us against control decks. Of course, we have Tsubaki's removal, Front Guard General spawning things, Odin banishing things completely, Dark Angel Olivia giving us Evo tokens. So it's overall a very strong effect. And then, of course, Bahamut clearing the board of things. The only reason why I only have one Bahamut is because I feel like the meta is fast enough right now that I don't want to be top decking Bahamuts, especially multiple in a row. And the deck I saw was running 3 Bahamut. It was running 1 less of the Front Guard General, and it wasn't running Dark Angel Olivia. But her being 1 less down on the curve and Evo tokens generally giving +2/+2, and us having so many abilities that are based around getting the tokens, I feel like she is worth trying out. I've only played about 8 games with the deck, 9 games with the deck, sorry, and it's won 8 of them. It's doing fairly well. 3 of those are when I was first testing it against Kira, and then 5 of them have been on ladder. Yeah, so 4, I'm sorry. I played 4 against Kira, 1 of them was a loss. Then I played 5 on ladder, and so far it's won all of them. So we'll see how this goes. Of course, I'm still only in B1. We're not in A yet, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and jump into ladder. It looks like I am getting some frame loss here. This is very frustrating to me, because I can't think of any reason why I should be losing frames. I'm hoping that it doesn't keep up when we're playing matches, because it was not a problem a little while ago at all. If Reps continues to be iffy with frames, I'm going to have no choice but to get a Bandicap license and just use that instead, or find some other recording software. Oh, we got a match almost instantly. Yeah, this is pretty bad on the frames. This is just really frustrating, because I want to make content for you guys, but the fact that I constantly can't record because of these frame losses is frustrating me. It's making my videos late. It's making them unenjoyable to watch. I mean, look at this. This is horrid. And I have literally no idea why it's doing this. We're down to 1 frame right now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and try to continue. opening is not too bad. I have been running into a little bit of Dragoncraft lately, but it's almost all discard. And while discard does have the ability, I've heard, to supposedly OTK you, I've never actually had an issue playing against it.
Thanks. My dragon and I are one.
Now the question here is, do you want to go for Unicorn or Veteran Lancer? I think I'm going to play... See, they both have merits for holding on to. Since there is a decent amount of Storm available for Dragoncraft, saving the Veteran Lancer for a later game gives us more potential if we're low health to slam her down and try to prevent a Storm from finishing us off. Whereas Unicorn Dancer also, if we're able to protect late game, can start healing us back up, hopefully out of the range of the Storms. Since we have so many good cards in our hand, though, I'm just going to put the Veteran Lancer down now. And, save the Unicorn Dancer for late game. Maybe get us out of range of dying to Forte, for example. If it's even ran in this deck, if this is discard, I don't know. I'm not really too sure what to expect from Dragoncraft at the moment. We are going to be able to evolve a Floral Fencer on curve, which will be pretty nice. Alright, let's just put some damage down. I would like to play the Melee Leader to draw a card, but I don't want to give him a free kill with the 2/2. I'd rather cast her late game. Well, that's... okay. Floral Fencer's coming out this turn anyways. So not only are we going to be able to remove that, it seems kind of weird to me that he would play this the turn that I'm going to evolve. So either he has a slow hand, but he was on 6 mana. I don't know why he was expecting that to stick when I get an evolution turn. Got a Megalorca. Excellent. I wonder if they'll ever make more Megalorca synergy, because it seems like it could be a cool deck if it was supported better. The frames are also staying pretty consistent right now, so that's quite a relief. Oh, baby. Do I want to use another evolution token right now, though? I think I will.
At your service.
Hello? Oh yeah. I don't know why I got so confused there for a second. I was like, what is happening? I'll go ahead and use her to finish off the 2/2 to just keep more minions on the board. Oh, I don't know if you can hear her, but my cat is
Rhea, we can do this together.
sitting over here talking. Well, one of the cats. There's 2 cats now. One of the cats is over here talking. Ooh. Well, that was a
Focused.
that was a pretty good turn for our opponent. Pretty good turn.
Time to say goodbye.
And evolving. Alright.
I'm not the girl you used to know.
So we're definitely putting a good amount of pressure on our opponent. They're looking a little desperate. We could go for Maid and Amelia, but I kind of want to just Albert. The issue is that we don't have another Albert in our hand. Let's play the Maid and see what we get. Another front card general. I don't really want to waste an evolution token right now. I don't think we need to. We'll just play Amelia, get the card from it, and then pass the turn. The thing only has 2 health anyways. If we take some damage, we can get up some front guards with unicorns behind them and be pretty solid.
Good. Me? You are free, my darling. You wouldn't.
That's right. Okay. Well, now that we have Olivia in our hand, it doesn't really matter if we use an evolution token right now. So I'm just going to go for it.
It all ends here.
Brothers, it can't take me down.
And even if he plays Oh, yeah, even if you played an Olivia this turn, she stays a 3-1, so she would die anyways to the ward we have in place. And she can trade into it, but that's okay. At least he trades evenly for his 8-drop. Wow.
This fortress will not fall.
Alright, cool. Works for me. Do we get another front guard general down here is the question. I'd like to go front guard unicorn, but we don't have that option. And I want to save Albert to try and finish the game, even though we have another one kicking around our deck. So maybe here we'll just go for the so over here we'll just go for Monica to make some tokens, and oh, there goes the frame rate again.
Admiral Monica, reporting for...
And a Gelt? Yeah. So it seems if I stop the recording for like a couple seconds and then reactivate it, I'm thinking what's happening. Oh, Bahamut. That was not what I wanted to see.
Focused.
That's pretty rough. Well, Albert will activate, but it's not really going to save us. So I think front guard Unicorn Dancer is going to be okay here. Try to get some damage on that Bahamut from him having hit the ward. Hopefully. Yeah, so it looks like what's happening is Fraps is losing its frames whenever it splits the recording, since I have it set to divide it into multiple gigabytes. So we'll see.
I know what dragons feel.
That's okay.
This fortress will not fall.
La 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 la.
Start healing up a little bit. Blitz Lancer is excellent. As much as but I really want to play Olivia this turn, if at all possible. I think we're going to do that, yeah. Because if we can get evolution tokens, then the rest of our turns get much more effective.
You are done for.
I'm going to go ahead and evolve Olivia here just so she can attack immediately. And the more minions that we leave alive that he's going to have to deal with, the easier it's going to be to keep Bahamut from actually being able to hit us.
I am the water's watcher.
Okay. Alright, we're looking good here. So now we can evolve an Albert and get a pretty good turn on our opponent. Ooh, Odin is also very good. But I think the Albert with the evolution is going to be stronger, a stronger play.
Sky Knights, prepare for battle.
It won't be long now.
A little blood won't savor strike.
All will be lost.
We only got 13 damage, so I guess we are going to go for the clear on our opponent here. The question is, do I hit him for 5, or do I trade in Unicorn Dancer? I think I'll trade in the Dancer. That might be wrong, but the ability to attack twice a turn with a 5/7 is going to be very good if he doesn't have an answer. And we have Odin in our hand. We have another full. We have a couple responses in our hand to stuff, but we are already down to our last token again for evolution. Another Bahamut. All right, we'll just Odin that.
So this is the end. Make haste, Sleipnir. The battlefield tower.
Leave this to me.
There we go. Alright.
Retreat!
Another Odin. This is why you run 3.
Sleipnir. The battlefield tower. The god of war here reigns. There's no one else I'd rather.
Alright, excellent. Well, there goes our first game. I'm going to try to do 2 or 3, depending on how long these games go. At least 2, though.
The pleasure was all
Nice, so
mine.
we're continuing our win streak with the deck. Love it. So I'm going to play battle again. I'll see you guys in the next battle. Here we go. So I'm remembering right before I took the break to move, someone had mentioned that they were getting irritated by me saying at the end of every match that I will see you guys in the next one. So I will try to not say that. Now here's the question. We're going first. We're not drawing 2. So I feel like we want to throw this all back for early game, but I feel like Blitzlancer is good enough that... Well, hold on. Okay, good. And we weren't punished. That's always good, not to get punished. Always give our opponent the hello. Floral Fencer, excellent. Now we just have to hope our opponent doesn't have Priest of the Cudgel to respond to Floral Fencer, because that would
Hello.
kind of make me sad. Amelia, also strong. Okay, good. Aurelia is particularly good in this matchup if we're able to get 3 enemy minions on the battlefield. Noble Fangs. This actually isn't a card that I remember seeing. A Brong. 5/4 ward. Oh, okay, yes.
No! This will be done in
I didn't realize that it was called a Barong. A Barong? Barong? I don't know the word for it. Let's just try to pressure her down. We're not going to be able to evolve on curve, so I'll probably just play Amelia next turn. To get more cards in our hand. Black Inscripture. Sacred Plea, okay. Oh, let's not say Aurelia, though it's not always the easiest thing to get 3 opposing creatures, monsters, followers, I guess is technically the word I should use. Followers when you're fighting Havencraft. Oh, 1 second, let me stop the recording. Alright, there we go. Oh, so there's the cudgel. It's exactly what we didn't want to see, but we will have a response.
I see.
What I keep trying to say, though, I apologize for these fraps issues. I'll try to work on just getting Banding Cap or something up instead. What I was trying to say is against Havencraft, it's not always... We could be cheeky and just play Albert, hit it, and leave him with 1 health, but I feel like the Floral Fencer is better just for pressure.
beauty together. You would
Gosh, I'm sorry. I keep losing my train of thought.
all free.
Loyalty is
Stop staring.
Now, this might make her have to play a second Priest of the Cudgel instead of an Amulet, which I'd be okay with. But regardless, it's not always easy with this deck, especially its ability to control the board, and Havencraft's preference of Amulets over just slamming followers down to get Aurelia's proc to make her immune to targeted abilities. But because Havencraft is able to banish things, getting the +3/+0 and immunity to abilities on Aurelia is really strong against Havencraft, because then they're forced to use their storm creatures and stuff to slam into Aurelia as opposed to killing the minions you'd expect them to. I'm gonna go ahead and just use an Albert here to kill this 4/2. I want to try to save this evolution token. Since our opponent is already down to her last token. I want to see if I can force her to use hers first, especially since we have Olivia in our hand. Kira had mentioned that she thinks Olivia... Obviously, it doesn't, because that would cause balance issues. But she said it feels like Dark Angel Olivia has a higher draw % chance than other cards. And it sure does feel like it, because I feel like you only ever need 1. Ooh. Now what you have to wonder is if that ability continues if he's not around. Oh man. What do we want to do here? We could play another Aurelia just to get something big on the board. I would really like to wait for her to have more minions though. But I also want to pressure her.
on my blade. Victory and prosperity are
Stop
yours.
staring.
Saber strike.
No one gets past me.
And then go ahead and throw down Velt. Now, the issue with this turn, I just realized I should not have played Velt, because if she has a Themis in hand or is running Themis in this deck, I might have just completely thrown this game away. But if we can stay alive, keep her at 10 or lower, play Olivia, and then play Albert the next turn, I mean, we do have a finisher.
No loitering on holy
Oh,
ground.
okay, cool. Phew. I was really worried that we were about to get punished by some Themis' decrees. Cyclone Blade. Not what I want to be doing. If we play the Floral Fencer, she is going to drop one of her own tokens off. I don't really want to trade 2 minions into this. Do we have a way to get through here? We're 1 off him being able to attack twice. 1 man off. Next turn he would be able to attack twice, which would give us lethal, actually. If this was next turn, we would have lethal. We also have Olivia next turn, though. I think we are going to go for the Fencer play.
One more time now. Live longer.
Strength and beauty together. It won't be long now. Laurel Flurry.
My loyalty
Stop
is
staring.
ironclad.
This is why I always play Olivia in decks, because when you do get these matches, I like to run decks that have a lot of... I just love abusing the evolution mechanics, and then when you get matches where your opponent is kind of pressuring you pretty well, it's nice to have the extra tokens. We might even do like Albert Cyclone Blade. Oh, we won't be able to because he is going to steal all 9 mana automatically. That's something I wish, is that you could choose not to do it. Maybe you can, I don't know. Maybe you can choose not to use the 9 mana, but we will see. All we have to do... Oh wait, but she has 5 health.
Don't tell
So.
me how to fight.
So I think, yeah, we just won. Nice.
Let us conclude. I rely on no one. I was naive.
She has no choice here but to clear my board.
My armor has been pierced.
You wouldn't.
Alright, nice.
Sky Knights, prepare for battle. Saber strike.
No.
Saber strike.
And that's game. Since I'm having these frame rate issues with Fraps, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here after just the second match. I apologize if it's kind of short.
Pleasure was all mine.
You know what I will do is at least go over the deck a little bit. Might as well. Just give you guys some more content. Obviously, how the deck works is pretty simple. It's a control deck. Early game, you have your Unicorn Dancers and your Veteran Lancers. Made Leader, I'll get to in a second. To slow down your opponent, providing an aggro deck, they literally have to kill the ward to hit you with minions, and the Unicorn Dancer is basically another ward, so if they don't kill it, you're gaining 2 health a turn, and especially for something like Aggro Blood or Aggro Sword, or I don't see Aggro Shadow as much once I got into B, but it is kicking around, and they have to kill it if they want to do damage to you, because you're effectively increasing your health. I mean, you're literally, but... and now I got hiccups. Wow. But you get the point. Maid Leader is not really an early game card. You can play her if you have to, but most, even early game minions are going to be 2/2s or 2/3s, and they're going to kill her for free. She's mainly just a way to grab our later game cards. I prefer to use her late game when I don't really have a guaranteed play, but I have something I can cast in my hand. So let's say I have 7 mana and I have a 5 mana play and a Maid Leader. And the 5 mana play is okay, but there's a potential for me to have something better. Like maybe I want to get an Aurelia and all I have in my hand is Monica. I can play Maid Leader, see if she pulls Aurelia, and if not, play Monica instead. That's mainly how I prefer to use her. I will only keep her in my opening hand if I do not have any other low drops in my opening hand, and like say I'm going first, for example, and I just want to make sure I can slam something down. Same thing with Wholesouled Swing. This card is particularly good against aggro decks early game because and among those I would say Blood especially, because you can shut down the card that when it clashes makes a vampire. You can kill Vanias. You can kill the 2/1 Storm Wolf. This literally kills a lot of their most important cards for the first few turns. And since they will probably be slamming down 1 and 2 drops into turn 3, turn 4, at least in my experience, Wholesouled Swing almost always gives you a 1/1 token, which at minimum is going to kill a Dire Bat. Or if the opponent goes for a greedy trade, it's going to block you from taking damage from a bigger minion for 1 turn, in case they want to try to protect their bats for a big combo turn with the amulet or something. Novice Trooper, only a 2-of. It's kind of like a 3-mana removal spell. It potentially gives you Reach, since it does have Storm, to finish off your opponent later game. Or you can evolve it to get a free trade-in on something like a 2/3 or a 2/2, of course, anything that a 4/4 wouldn't die to. And then your opponent has to deal with it or take 4 damage consecutively. Blitz Lancer is a card that I'm still trying with. She has saved me a couple of times. The decks I looked at were running the Angel here, the 2/3 restore 2 health. I'm sorry I don't know names all by heart yet. That's one thing I'm bad at, is forgetting the names of cards that aren't in decks that I'm currently using myself. But I've been preferring Blitz Lancer because honestly she gets pretty favorable trades. She can finish off big things that are pressuring us down, and at the same time she is a 3/2, so if we're just playing her to pressure our opponent, pushing 3 damage out of 20 health is not bad at all. And often I find that the 2 health I get from the Angel isn't as significant as a minimum 3 mana removal spell to kill something that would probably do more than 2 damage. Full Offenser, you saw plenty of this card. It's good in both matchups because aggro, you evolve it, kill something, and you get tokens that can also kill stuff on the next turn. And against control, you force them to either use area of effect abilities or to waste time and resources killing the 3 individual pieces of Floral Fencer. Solid card. I can see why it's an auto-include now. Swordcraft is, until now, a faction that I hadn't dabbled in too much, but it's quickly becoming my favorite faction to play. Specifically in the control sense, though. Amelia Silver Paladin, only a 2-of. I don't know the reason. Like I said, I'm just now putting my foot into the door of Swordcraft, so I'm taking a lot of ideas on deck building from just other players I've seen. And Amelia seems to be a 2-of card. She's a 4-mana 3/4. She puts a 2/2 in your hand, which is also good because it gives us more things to play. I think I've already beaten to death the point of token or having more things to play against control wastes resources, and more things to play against aggro gives you more trades and more things to kill their stuff with. But also, if your opponent has, I guess I can click on it real quick. If your opponent has 3 followers in play, then not only does Gelt cost 0 mana, but Gelt's ability is if you have a commander in play, which Amelia is, he becomes a 3/2 ward, which is also very cool. Moving on to Aurelia here. Probably my favorite card in the deck. The 5 drops in this deck are very, very strong. Like, so strong. Aurelia, 2/6, as you can see here, she has a ward automatically. And a 2/6 ward isn't bad if you're fighting an aggressive deck. Most of their stuff will probably die to the 2 attack anyways. But the fact that she gets +1 attack for every follower in play, and of course that's permanent, and if they have at least 3, she gets that Hexproof, is coming from Magic, I have to say. She's immune, as it says, to target enemy spells and effects. Very, very good card. Pressures your opponent, as you saw in the most recent game, just as I believe she was a 4/6. Good. Just one thing I will say, if you try this deck out, with the first couple games I played, I made the mistake of making trades and then playing the maid, and then the maid draws me Aurelia, and because I'd already traded, might not lose my Aurelia weaker, but I could have got her the crucial 3 follower boost. But I love this card. I love this card so much. Albert, again, Storm can attack immediately, helps us keep control of the board. Enhanced 9 can't be damaged until end of turn. This helps us do things like double hit a Bahamut, which was an option that last game to finish it off from 6 health. And can attack twice per turn, which is where the double hit comes in. If you have an evolution token, he's a great play right after Olivia. He's a great play right after Olivia to finish off the game, because that's 10 damage if you can evolve him and attack twice. Very strong card. It means that we can really focus on just controlling the board when we need to, and stalling out the game, and then finishing off with Albert if we can't seem to stick anything else that's threatening. Move over to Monica, Cloud Hall Admiral. Fanfare Summon a Knight, automatically you get a token. That's fine. 5/5 for 5 is kind of what she comes down to. But her Evolve ability is really where she shines, since she's a removal spell, often with all the other things we have that make tokens, especially if you play her right after a full Fencer turn and evolve her. She's probably going to be doing at least 3 damage to something, and since she's evolving, she can attack immediately. She super strong card. This is the first deck, I will say, that I wish I could have had 50 cards in instead of 40, because a lot of these 2-ofs, I would really, really, really like to have 3-ofs, because they're just so good. But the cards that we do have 3-ofs are much more important to have 3-ofs than the 2-ofs, of course. That's why they're 3s and not 2s. Cyclone Blade. This is only a 2-of because 1, it does cost 5 mana, and 2, it also damages our own minions. It being a 5 mana, though, later in the game, you can actually combo it with things that have decent attack, or you can play it on something that you've just evolved, which is also strong if we're coming from an empty board. It lets us have a lot of damage out of the hand towards our opponent. And since Tsubaki, which we'll get to in a second, has Ambush, sometimes you can play as Tsubaki, you can kill your opponent's biggest minion, and then because they feel pressured, they spend time making favorable trades into the minions that don't have Ambush in order to stay alive, and therefore keeping all their minions alive with a couple health, or if they're big, sometimes 3 or 4 health. And you can cast Cyclone Blade on Tsubaki to do 4 damage to everything, since your board is just cleared and their things were traded greedily. And then Tsubaki's the only thing left, and then you can play like a 5-dropper or 2-dropper something after Cyclone Blade, and basically take control and initiative on the board immediately after that. Tsubaki, we just talked about her. 4/3 Ambush becomes a 6/5. Typical evolution stats. But when she enters the battlefield, she destroys a follower with at least 5 attack. This is a 2-of that's good against other Bahamuts. Any big things that are evolved. It helps mainly in Dragoncraft, and Dragoncraft has been surprisingly common lately. I don't say surprisingly because I feel like it's bad, though I haven't lost to a single Dragoncraft this month. But it is common enough that I think Tsubaki is warranted, and Bahamut seems to be common enough. I mean, it's a fun card, it's a cool card, that I feel like she's definitely strong, because you have a 6-mana answer to their 10-mana play, and we have a couple 4-mana options that we can pair with her to refill the board, especially if our opponent's top decking. And again, the ambush synergy I just talked about. She's potentially 6 damage to finish off the game if you have an evolution token, and again with Olivia, we often can have evolution tokens. And with Cyclone Blade, she's got some good synergy as well. Front card general. This is recommended as a 2-of. I personally prefer it as a 3-of. The 5/6 ward, 5/6 is already really good stats in my opinion. I've noticed it compared to something like Curvestone, which is Hearthstone. Just in case you didn't know. 5/6 is actually fairly big on 7 mana. I really appreciate the card design in Shadowverse, and it's what has brought me to it and made my love for the game grow. And a 5, 6, or 7, it doesn't seem to be bad. The fact that when it dies, at least behind a 2, 3 that also has ward, means that in those last couple turns when you're trying to really stabilize against an aggro deck, especially if you've had a bad start, and that's why on 7 mana you're still trying to stabilize, but you stayed alive, a double ward is extremely useful, very strong. And I just like having the third one. I haven't had to cast 3 in a game, but these were my first 2 games since putting in the third one. I did have one Dragonute Charlotte just as a placeholder in the deck, but I didn't want to have that many 8, 10 mana cards. And I'm realizing that Front Guard General just plays the same role as Dragonute Charlotte for 1 less mana, and almost applicable stats. I mean, there's just 1 stat difference between them, and 1 more allocated to attack than defense. So, and then when you combine the 2/3 ward, it's just a fantastic card. I definitely prefer this card over Dragonute Charlotte after playing a little bit with her. Triple Odin. The deck started with 1. So I thought, 8 mana, whatever, play it, banish something. Play it, banish something. You get rid of it forever. Why do you, it's already 8 mana, the game's almost over. But I would say that the meta right now is really fun. Even the control decks, even when you fight against an aggro deck, with a deck like this Control Swordcraft, you can go into the late game against them if you're not able to kill them. Usually they run out of steam and then you just kind of whittle them down or they concede. But if they don't, Triple Odin is not only good against Runecraft. I've been seeing a lot of Earth Sigil running around, and banishing their sigils is very strong. But it's also good against, obviously, Havencraft. It's good against Dragoncraft. It's good against Shadowcraft. It's fantastic. A solid card. And if you do run into other decks that are like Control Sword, or anything that has a Last Words ability, like a Front Guard General, banish it. It's gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore. So the deck started with 1. I quickly put in a second one, and then after losing that 1 game to Kira where I could not find an Odin, after playing my first one, I was like, I need a third Odin. I need a third Odin, because so far the deck's only lost, out of arguably only 10 games now, was only because I couldn't find my banish, and 3 Odins is worth it in my opinion, especially because we don't have a whole bunch of draw. We want to make sure we have our Odin. And then quickly we'll have the last 2 cards. Dark Angel Olivia, self-explanatory. In a deck like this, I love having the 3 extra evolution points. Very strong, very good card. Usually can evolve her immediately and then use the other 2 to finish the game off. So she's basically a 9 mana 6/6, gain 2 evolution tokens, unless you're playing her on an empty board. And Bahamut, sadly we saw more play from our opponents than ourselves this game, but very good card. Very good card. As you saw, there are answers to it. That's why I only roll 1. Because there are a lot of answers running around. It can finish a game, but I don't want to be top decking Bahamuts. Against Havencraft, I don't want to be blowing up all their amulets, because a lot of them have abilities when they go off. It's a big clunky card. Your opponent can stop it attacking even without wards by just playing a bunch of little stuff. And one big 13/13 that can't hit your opponent because there's 2 1/2s and a 2/1 wolf on the battlefield, and it has to waste its time hitting those tiny minions instead of hitting your opponent, really limits its strength. But I still 100% think it's worth having in the deck. So that's just a brief couple games and a deck tech. I guess this will be a deck tech on my little tweak of Control Swordcraft. Honestly, I know I said that Shadowcraft was my favorite, but now that I'm done memeing and I'm kind of really trying to make that climb into A, because I love this game and I'm always into playing competitively and I want to make that climb, this has fast become like if you could take a waifu and make them in deck form. That's what this is. Like, I love this deck. It's so good. So much fun to play. And it'll treat you well on ladder. I would say look around, look at other Control Swordcraft lists. This one is tweaked for my playstyle. So if you have preferences you prefer, or anything you think I should try in the deck, let me know, because I'm always open. Like, I appreciate all the feedback I got on the Shadowcraft deck. I do plan on revisiting that and inputting your feedback and seeing if we can make it better, because I know we can. I should say, see if we can make it as good as this deck, which is more refined. I Again, like I said, I can't take full credit for this list. I was looking at other Control Swordcraft lists, and then I changed about maybe 10 cards or so from what I was seeing as the standard. Because honestly, most of the standard I agree with. I love Control. And excellent. We'll see you guys next video. Thank you for watching, and enjoy.